Well, it's the Benji Show. Let me know if that was fire. What it do, man? Welcome back to another episode of In Between the Ropes. If you're new, please don't forget to subscribe. We are slightly climbing up the ropes, same way I was climbing up the vocal cords. Y'all know y'all seen it. Y'all hate. Don't be mad. You ain't got the vocals. Not each and every one of us can be Michael Jackson. I have my days though, man. But if you are new, I'm Benji. Of course, I hope that you slide that like button a chop, man. And I do appreciate each and every one of y'all that's been joining the community. We're growing. Y'all been sliding me movies, TV shows, and matches to watch. We're trying to catch up. And look, I am relatively new to AEW, but I'm trying to, like, you know what I mean, make a routine of catching Dynamite on Wednesdays, man. So I slowly equaling on into it. I might be able to catch a couple more collisions, you know. We fresh off All Out. I ain't gonna lie, it was pretty good, man. Let's get into it, man. We are on another episode of AEW Dynamite, and we're gonna talk about my thoughts. The show opened with a Hangman promo where Hangman admits that Kyle Fletcher took him to the limit, and he'll be watching this guy to see his career path. Lee, what was it, Moriarty? Lee was the recipient of a challenge from Hangman to fight Dude. Dude's from Ring of Honor, so I don't really know much about him, but I'm interested to see how this is going to go. We then see Ricochet walking up with his boys from GOA, and he's wearing a t-shirt that seems to allude that these boys are calling themselves The Demand. And my suspicions are confirmed when we see a in-video promo, which I really do like, that Ricochet tells everybody, when you are in demand, you can make demands. I like that. Like, it was nice. It was done inside the entrance. It was pretty cool. I almost forgot that these boys beat the Hurt Syndicate, but they do get the shot today against BRODIDO and Brody, who are still probably hurting after that ladder match from All Out. Dude, there might be a little trouble in paradise, though, because in the beginning of the match, BRODIDO wants to start, but Big Brody's gonna let him have it. Anyways, our forgotten Bloodline member does not really feel like dealing with a costume party reject, so Toa gets active. Look, BRODIDO did it to himself. I mean, he walked into his beatdown as the boys from GOA just pick on him, applying a beatdown to him. Brody eventually catches the hands as well, but when he gets back in, BRODIDO gets active. I do like this spot where BRODIDO is just thrown into the corner and he's dodging all the attacks from Big Toa before he gets the Macarena on that boy. That was kind of funny. It was entertaining. I did enjoy Ricochet at the commentary table, but speaking of tables, we had a moment where Big Boy over here, Big Toa, was resting against the barricade right over there by the timekeeper's table, and it looks like Brody's going to run and hit him with a big splash or a spear or something like that, but then the camera's just cut away from that action. And if you just pay attention to the corner of the screen, you get to see Big Toa, I guess, reasserting or retaking the advantage and tossing Brody onto the timekeeper's table. Like, bro, he really puts that boy right on top of the table like a decoration. I thought it was going to break or something like that. Now, I did like this part of the match. The ref goes to go check on these two boys. And Ricochet, who was, again, at the commentary table, uses this window of opportunity to run into the ring with a chair. As soon as he's about to attack, the ref slides right back into the ring and catches him and boots him out of the arena. Or at least boots him out of the ring. This opens up the opportunity for BRODIDO to eventually hit a 21-plex and get the win. It is good to see a ref that actually cares about the integrity of the sport. Because I'm not going to lie, I felt like a lot of these refs are getting paid off. If you had to ask me. Dude, it had to be a crazy convention backstage as Mark Briscoe was interviewed with a bunch of people that looked like they hop out of Comic-Con and asked about who his tag partners against Don Callis family might be. Guess what? We don't get an answer. Just send this crew to Arkham Asylum. Absolute madness. Even these fools don't even know who they're talking to. Do they even know what planet they're in right now? I was absolutely wrong. I thought that when people watched off the screen, the crazes were gone. No, the crazes are still here. Right after the commercial, our favorite cat lady is back and introducing our new women's champion, KRIS Statlander. She's supposed to take on Mina Shirakawa tonight for the belt. We get to see Hangman versus Lee Moriarty. Hold on. I don't know what my brain is malfunctioning. Moriarty, right? God. Anyways, these boys get to the graps, and this is supposed to be a friendly match for the belt, but Hangman is not your friend. He's not your buddy. Okay? After Moriarty tries to wrestle him down, Hangman eventually just hits him with the dead eye and sends that fool back to Ring of Honor. We did get to see a video from Saturday after the beatdown that Cope and Christian had faced, where Adam Copeland is just rushing to pack all his things up and tend to his family. I think, all want to know what kind of condition that Beth is in and whether or not they're going to be getting their get back. Copeland says he's just got to go for a while, so it looks like he might be off TV for a little bit. He does shake Christian's hand and let him know that they family, though. I just sat there and tried to figure out what was going to come next to this, but it only is a few seconds before our perpetrators, FTR, show up to the ring and grab a mic. They mentioned that they wanted to solely retire Cope and Christian, but things got out of hand. They blame Cope for bringing his wife into this, and even Stoke forgives Beth for the spear. I mean, hey, I can't lie. These are great guys. I just love to see the accountability. Obviously, the crowd is not willing to hear these guys out, and they chant STFU the entirety of this promo. And then, if the negative Nancy's in the crowd weren't enough, Willow comes out to reprimand these boys. Stoke tells her to go watch the Proud Family and go to sleep, which I think that was pretty funny. And it looked like almost everybody in the scene starts almost laughing. But she just slaps him. I don't even know why she did that. I mean, what about the power of positivity? That was pretty crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Do two wrongs make a right in this scenario? Y'all let me know. And before these guys get froggy and start deciding to put their hands on Willow and make her Beth Phoenix number 2, since she supposedly wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a woman like Beth Phoenix, Jet Speed comes over to save the day and chase FTR out of the ring. Who did I say? I said Jet Speed, right? Yeah, it was Jeff T. Jet Speed. Yo, what is wrong with me? Okay, that was my fault. I think, I ain't gonna lie. Whatever nonsense, juju, that those crazies backstage put on me for talking about them in that light, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. A really dope part of the show, or maybe I'm biased, I don't know. MJF cut a promo. Now, this was following the match that he lost against Mark Briscoe. He was supposedly caught by the stairs, all dirty, bloody, and supposedly still not, getting that Tide sponsorship. He walks down memory lane. At one point, he was on top of the world, and it was Adam Cole who came along, and then the losses started to pile up. He lost titles, he lost his heart, and there's still something missing. Dude, obviously, MJF is so good. And each and every one of the opportunities that he gets on the mic, in front of the camera, dude, I remember why he's so good. He mentions now that he's in the dust of guys like Ospreay and Hangman, but at one point in time, he was levels above them. He says the tacks in the match that are stuck to his body represent the doubt that he has, and he will doubt no more. In order to illustrate this, he picks one of the tacks off of his shoulder and chews it up. He lets the camera know he will come back and take his spot at the top, his way. So, really good promo. Only thing I fear here is that we might not see MJF on TV for a little bit. So, we get a little bit of time to think about it, and then we see the Don Callis family walk into the ring, ready to battle and show off new artwork. Dude, I don't know what it is with Don Callis and some of these photo shoots. I don't even understand where he's getting opportunity to really get the artistic inspiration for some of these photos. If you had to ask me, some of the stuff gets a little suggestive. Especially the stuff that's with Kyle Fletcher. He does want to reveal another piece of artwork for us. And the reveal is botched a little bit, but Orange Cassidy is revealed to have actually been hiding underneath the covers. And this is actually the third tag team partner that Mark Briscoe was looking for. I'm pretty sure I've seen clips of this dude with the hands in the pants. I'm sure he's pretty good, but if you had to ask me, he lacks the aura that he thinks that he has. But now that might be why folks are onto him, why folks like him. I mean, he's a caricature of a good guy. Of a really cool guy. If I had to think about it, He reminds me of like how Johnny Bravo views himself in the head, but like in reality, even though he might be like in shape or whatever the case may be, and be able to do cool things, a lot of people aren't feeling the energy that he's putting out there. Surprisingly though, even though like there's Takeshi on this team and Okada, Orange Cassidy is actually able to lead his team to a W. And Hologram pins Hechicero. I'm not going to lie though, I've watched Hechicero for the last couple weeks, and I really haven't seen him do anything other than get pinned and eat slams. I mean, Big Boy is not repping the luchador as well. I do want to thank Kyle Fletcher for coming out to address these rejects. He wants to be the first person to pin Hologram and is willing to put his title on the line. What do y'all think? He winning? Is this going to be the first steps of main event Kyle Proto Star Fletcher? Is he going to win this match? If you had to ask me, I think he wins. But there's definitely going to be some mayhem. We do get a match that gets snuck in, which is Hobbs versus Claudio. I mean, dude, Hobbs is a unit, but y'all knew that already. I mean, dude, there have been a lot of returns, too. I wanted to, like, just really think about that. Like, I got to do some research on so many people. Pac ended up sneaking onto the apron and distracted Hobbs so that Hobbs could eat a roll-up pin. For a second, I was thinking about, like, this being the seatbelt pin that a lot of y'all were telling me about. The Death Riders, of course, are not going to let things go off without, introducing themselves. And they jump on Hobbs, but it is Hangman who shows up and goes 1 versus 5. And he wins. Who was this dude? The Wolverine? And the interesting part of the show is that they actually introduced women's World Tag Team Championships. So this ought to be good. I mean, there's a lot of good women that I've been able to see over the last couple of weeks. So I want to kind of dig into who's going to be the tag team to beat. I think that will offer, plenty of opportunities up to a lot of the women. Also, I realized I was wrong. I think I saw Statlander win her match against Mina with a seatbelt pin. And that was obviously like a different strategy, like a different technique to execute that pin. The two of them had a pretty good match. But Mina is a savage with the strikes. That was disrespectful. But I'm surprised that Stat did not walk. Like, I don't even know how she could walk. Like, I would have got up wobbling after some of those kicks, man. Like, she getting hit in the head, like, flush. The match itself was kind of like, whatever. Like, I mean, I couldn't tell if, like, it was Mina or Stat that was a tick above in regards to the pacing. But it looked like Stat was just waiting for, like, the spots in many moments in this match. We got to see the Death Riders surrounding Stat after the match. And even Mox made an appearance. I thought this was going to be the moment where she's, I don't know how you really get into the Death Riders. I don't know if it's like a thing where you have to like drink piss or like eat a cockroach. But yeah, Wheeler ends up lifting her arm in celebration. But she clotheslines Wheeler and flips off Mox. I don't think this is going to end up well for her. Before we could think about what's going to happen, Darby Allin shows up. And for weeks, I couldn't put my finger on why Darby just looked so familiar. But it hit me today. Hear me out. Dude had to have been in a Purge movie. It all makes sense. Like, I think it was maybe him showing up with a flamethrower today that really woke it up for me. Like, I'm pretty sure he was an extra in Purge. But he scares the Death Riders off, and he stands menacingly as we close the show. All in all, this show kind of was like a breeze. Like, it went through like pretty quickly. I don't know if it was just like they just packed all of the moments into the episode, but I don't know. It flew through. Y'all let me know if y'all felt the same way. I do kind of like that feeling after the pay-per-views where you're trying to figure out what's next. And I think that's just across any promotion. AEW's done a lot to kind of really immerse me over the last few weeks and get me interested with a lot of characters. I do like that they're utilizing a lot of guys out there. And, of course, the main names are going to be the main names. But a lot of the people in between, from the mid-card to the main, like, they're getting a lot of time, too. And I think that's dope that everybody's getting a lot of storylines and that we're integrating a lot of people in some of these 2-hour shows. So I think there's a lot of people that I still got to get introduced to. But you know how we like to rate things over here. Yay, nay, and somewhere in the middle lies okay. Now, for this episode in itself, I'm gonna give it an okay. It was solid. Like it was cool. Nothing too crazy. There was some dope moments, of course, but I'm interested to see again what's gonna happen next because it looked like a lot of people that are mainstays are going to be off TV. Maybe I read that wrong. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about some of those moments. Like for example, Adam Copeland and Christian, and maybe what's gonna happen with MJF. I think Darby Allin said he's gonna have a I Quit match with John Moxley. Dude, I got to get into the lore between these two guys because he just wants to literally kill him. And he is relentless. He wants to have match after match after match with this dude. And I understand why Moxley, when the first time this dude returned, he told Darby, I'm not having a match with you. Because this dude is obsessed. But yeah, solid episode all in all. It seems like there are a couple people, like, I don't really know what Willow's purpose is back there. I don't understand the cat lady either. There's a couple people that they feel like they're supposed to be big stars, big main eventers, but they don't really get an opportunity on TV. I am interested to see what is going to come of Monet after her match, and we didn't really get to hear from Rio, so I'm assuming that Collision is going to cover a lot of stuff that we missed. But I think that's dope. You know, there are a lot of people and stories that are going on, so maybe we'll get you know, some of that stuff reconnected on Friday/Saturday. I forget which day the episode is, but y'all let me know what y'all thought about this one in the comments below. Stay tuned to the next video.